Have you ever wondered how a crochet pattern looks different, made in different yarns? Today, we're going to show you with our no-sew chubby frog pattern. We're showcasing this adorable no-sew chubby frog pattern from Jade. I saw this frog from another YouTuber, Vivian the Strawberry, and she makes hers in this tiny little size and calls them her pocket froggies. And once I saw that pattern, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go find it because I need to make these pocket froggies because I think they're so cute. I know frogs are really popular right now, and I know everybody loves the leggy froggies, but personally, I just love these fat little guys. They're so cute.
We're gonna walk you through each one of the frogs that we've created here and tell you which crochet hook and what yarn we've used.
This cute froggy was the very first one that I made. I made him in Michael's Sweet Snuggles Green Ash, which I think is the most amazing little froggy color. I love the traditional green that's kind of like a minty green, but I think it's really cute.
Is this a scarf?
This is a scarf. I thought adding this just little red scarf was really cute for the winter time. I used my new really cool eyes that I got from AliExpress.
Here, let me just give that a little close up here.
I love them because they are recessed into your animal's face.
Yeah,
so
I like that too.
Yeah, they're like more in line with the fabric and they don't bug out, and they have the best, most clear, whatever this material.
In the front of those glitter parts.
Yeah, and the glitter, this one is holographic, and it's just really cool. It's very holographic-y, and you can see it really well.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say the biggest problem I had making mine the first time around was not knowing exactly and not being able to see exactly where my eye bumps go, because I just had a hard time seeing all my stitches with this very fluffy yarn.
I don't think I've crocheted with this yarn yet, but it is really, really soft, and you can tell it's very thick, plush yarn.
Yeah, it's super
thick. A lot thicker than like a parfait, chunky.
I used a 10
twist.
Yeah,
brush.
a 10 millimeter hook, which you would never use that big of a hook with anything else.
So that makes up really quick. You get a bigger, plushy, super quick.
Right.
And
I think that I would be able to sell a guy like this for like $12 to $15, and he works up so fast. It just whips together it feels like an instant. So it's definitely a good seller, I would say, when you can get it this size.
Right. And I noticed you didn't put the little cheeks under his eyes either.
No, the pattern calls for adding cheeks. Like you can see some of our other froggies here have cheeks.
This guy's got little cheeks.
But this one, I didn't have pink yarn accessible at that moment in time, and I was too impatient. So I just finished him as is.
Yeah, they don't have to have
No,
cheeks.
you can pick and choose which little features you add to your froggies.
And you'll see as we go along, once I understood how the pattern was going, I did what I always do and just kind of did my own thing on a bunch of them. So, it's a great pattern to start with if you haven't done a lot of amigurumi, because it's mostly worked up and around with just a few bumps in the road, so to speak. and then you close it up and you're done.
Yeah.
So it's really a nice beginner pattern.
And I'd say too, once I figured out the basic gist of the pattern, I haven't looked at the pattern again. I just kind of understand how many stitches to start with, how many rows there are.
Yeah.
And I just take my best shot at where I think the arms and feet should go.
And you know about how many rows till you put the arms on, and how many rows you put on the feet. And
it's a very easy pattern to memorize, and it just becomes methodical and wonderful.
Yeah. Now, is this a free pattern?
This is not a free pattern.
Okay.
It's available on Etsy and Ravelry, and it's just a couple dollars. I know she has sales frequently, so.
Yeah, and I have a few free patterns, and some free patterns are really amazing, and some free patterns are not. And so I'm willing to spend usually a little bit of money to get a good pattern, because It's well tested. Usually there are a lot of reviews. I love reading the reviews because people will be honest, right? If they had any trouble making the pattern. You also, when you purchase from a designer, you have access to the designer and their expertise. And if you have questions, you just throw a message and you will get a reply. And so sometimes you get what you pay for, right?
Definitely.
And when it was like our last video that we made with the Dollar Tree kits, you paid your $1.25 and then that's all there was, right?
You get $1.25 worth of support.
Right. So sometimes it's worth...
Ironically, $3 of money invested lends you a lot more.
Right, exactly.
But All From Jade has great patterns.
Yes.
So she's definitely a reputable name in the amigurumi world. I was definitely not scared to purchase from her.
Exactly. So which frog do you want to talk about next? Because this is, I think, our largest frog. Now, this was worked up with the same yarn, correct?
And that one just has glitter eyes instead of holographic and some cheeks.
And the cheeks. So these are the two biggest frogs that we crocheted.
And I just want to add, I didn't even just use the same kind of yarn for adding my embroidery. I used Parfait Chunky for the mouth, and I used Bernat Velvet for the cheeks. So
I've done that too.
I just mix and match, and whatever looks the best and honestly is the most accessible in my house at that moment in time.
Right. Right. And to me also it's a color thing where I might be wanting a specific color and it might not be in that same brand. And you know, honestly, sometimes I think if you are wanting that exact, it might be too thick for a cheek.
Totally.
Right? So mixing and matching the plush yarns are great. And it's always helpful to have black, white, a yellow or orange if you're going to do some kind of a bird type of thing, and pink for cheeks, because those are really common embroidery items.
Definitely agree with that.
All right, so those are our two biggest. What's our smallest?
The smallest is definitely this little guy I made in Bernat Velvet. So this one...
It's so cute. I love him.
I think Bernat Velvet is a 5, but it's a very thin 5. And I used a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. And as I was making it, I was thinking I probably could have even sized down to a 5. It's itsy bitsy. You can see it's like...
It's my favorite size.
It's very tiny.
It's my favorite size. I just love these little tiny guys.
It's adorable.
Yeah. Do you know what color this little guy is?
This is quiet pink in Bernat Velvet.
Okay. I love how he looks. And I think the cool thing about the shape of this frog is that you can turn this frog into any color. Any color. And you know it's a frog, right?
Totally.
Because of the iconic eyeballs, right?
Love the eye bumps.
Yeah. All right.
And I love that they're no sew and like it's only made in one piece too, because sometimes like you have to make two things and then crochet them together, but I just love that it's one piece.
When you say no sew doesn't necessarily mean one piece. It might mean 10 pieces all sewn together.
Right.
All right. So I would like to talk about this little guy because, like I said, I like to embellish and kind of go off the beaten path and color outside the lines. So I started this little guy exactly the same. I used the Big Twist Posh in Seafoam. I like using the Posh because it's an easier yarn for beginners to use. It's slipperier. I think we recorded once, but I'm not sure it ever made the cut in a video at how the yarn just kind of barfs when you hold it. The yarn just falls off. If you take the
outside.
Wrapper, it just keeps falling off and off and off. It's so slippery, but that makes it easier, I think, for beginners.
Totally.
In plush yarn to crochet with. You'll notice that this guy's got little lakes. So we got down to where I was going to be putting the bumps for the bottom, and I'm like, I wonder what it would look like if I made some little legs. So I crocheted these long legs out with just a chain and made a little bobble stitch down at the bottom, and then just slip stitch right back up. And I think he turned out super cute.
So cute.
And I like to put the eyes where they're a pretty big eye for the ball of the eye. And I think it was really fun that you put these bigger eyes on here.
Do you know?
But I think
size you have?
I think that this is just a 10 millimeter
Eye. Okay.
10 millimeter black safety eye.
And I think it's a good size for that. But I know you could go a little bit bigger, but
and this
still
is
looks adorable.
A pocket pel size. You could put them on a keychain.
Mm-hmm. My first fun froggy that I made is this little cute guy in Sweet Snuggles.
Why do you call him fun?
I think he's fun because he's speckled. He's a cute little pocket speckled frog. And I just love all of the little fun colors he has on him. This adorable little pocket froggy is made in Michael's Sweet Snuggles Light in the colorway Coastal.
It reminds me of that children's song, 5 little speckled frogs sitting on a speckled log.
Eating the most delicious bugs.
I used to teach music to little preschoolers, so they always loved that song. I love him too. You think that this was your first fun frog because you did something different with him, right?
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, I think my big froggy is fun too, but I just wanted to break the mold a little bit.
Well, I did that too. This little guy right over here, he's made with worsted weight yarn. And I know people are always looking for ways to use the yarn that's in their stash. We have a lot of worsted weight yarn. So I picked out a green yarn and then a variegated yarn that had almost identical, the same green, but then a blue colorway woven throughout it. And I used the same size hook, which I had been making with all of mine, which is a 5.5 millimeter hook. You could even probably make it with a 6 millimeter. I think the stitch is still tight enough to make him up a little bit bigger than that.
I'll pull mine out because I made mine with a 6 millimeter.
Oh, you made it with a 6 millimeter?
I did.
Okay, so now the truth be told, mine's bigger and she used a bigger hook. And this is my confession that I was really steering off the road of the pattern and just making it the way I wanted to make it. So I got my top started right, and then I made him, it's almost like he just turned from a tadpole into a frog with his little skinny legs right down here. But I thought it'd be really cute, like as a keychain.
Yeah.
Or, sitting on a kid's desk.
We also learned in our Dollar Tree video that I crochet tighter than my mom does here.
Yes.
So probably another factor in this.
Right. And I always use more yarn, right? I put these giant 15 millimeter eyes on mine. For this one, I wanted the eyes to really pop, so I used bigger safety
And I think
eyes.
I used 12 millimeter eyes in mine.
And I love the pink with the pink colorway in this. So what colors did you use in yours?
Oh, the green is I love this yarn color.
Yeah, it looks like a lime.
Yes.
In the Hobby Lobby, I love this yarn.
Yes, and then I don't know about the variegated. It didn't have a band on it, but I do know it came from Michael's. I think it's the Impeccable yarn, but I have no idea if they still make this variegated or not because I've had it for years. Both
of the yarns that I had are soft yarns, but they aren't yarns that I would recognize. They came out of a yarn haul from a garage sale. They were in one of those giant bags for $3.
Yeah.
So, and I just thought that'd be perfect for this project.
I thought it would be fun to have this be a Valentine's Day froggy and put maybe a little heart, make a tiny little heart to sew on its belly. I thought that might be really cute.
Okay, so talking about the embellishments, we'll go to this little guy. And I added a little flower that he's holding.
It's so cute.
Yeah, so this yarn, again, is the Big Twist Posh. And it's a lime colored yarn.
You can look it up. Glow Warm.
Glow Warm. I'll hold this a little closer to the camera so we can zoom in. His little flower is just made with an acrylic DK weight yarn. And basically I made a little magic circle. And once I got my circle started, I did 3 chains and single crocheted, 3 chains, single crocheted, 3 chains, single crocheted. I did that 5 times, and then I slip stitched it to the end and pulled it shut, and there's a little flower.
It's so cute. I love it.
Yeah, and then I used a little yellow, same brand, the Posh, Big Twist Posh yellow.
I think it's lemon meringue.
It could be lemon meringue, and sewed it in with that. I did attach the flower independent of that, but for sure that knot there in the middle, it's like a French knot if you do embroidery. That's what that technique is in there. So this was really fun, adding an embellishment to the froggy, kind of like you added your scarf.
Yeah.
While we're talking about tiny little frogs, this is the last little frog that I made out of just a single strand of worsted weight yarn. I think that this is also one of those Hobby Lobby lime colors.
Okay.
But it was in my stash without a band. That could have come from
anything.
It could be anything, but it was the right froggy color. And I just wanted to see how it would turn out. You know, sometimes when you have a plush pattern, it doesn't always work out when you translate it into much, much thinner yarn. So I did scale down to an F hook. And I'm not sure what millimeters that is.
I don't know either.
I didn't count my rows. I just started like the pattern, so it was working perfectly. And I was afraid that my little arms and legs would be too close together, you know, so I just crocheted enough rows, and I'm like, that looks like where I should put on the arms, and then crocheted and just started decreasing a little bit and put my little legs on the bottom and then finished him off. And I think he turned out really cute.
Yeah.
It did work up really fast. It wasn't any longer making this tiny little guy than making this one. But I would say if you're crocheting for markets, this guy here is going to be more valuable. Right, for the time that you invest in crocheting, because everyone knows bigger is better.
Right.
When it comes to crocheting for market, because there's as many stitches, maybe more stitches here than here, and so you're making more for your time.
Right.
Charging more, because you know, keychains don't go for a lot.
Personally, like off the top of my head, without knowing the exact prices of all of my materials, I would say I would charge someplace around $7 for something like this, and I would know I would be able to charge more like 12 to 15 for a medium-sized little plushy guy that's bigger. Next, we want to talk about our 3 little froggies that worked out to be just about the same size.
Right, they're all pretty close to the same size.
This froggy,
this is chenille.
A basic chenille, Premier Basic Chenille.
The brights.
Yeah, the brights.
And it's in the color sage.
Would you know what size eyes you used for this one?
That one would be 12 millimeter eyes.
All right, we did 12 millimeter eyes, and he doesn't have any embroidery, and he's still adorable. You know exactly what he is.
I think that that's something to keep in mind too, is you don't have to go all out on every single one. This one looks like a frog.
Do you have any idea what crochet hook size you used?
5.5. I used 5.5 for every single one of my frogs, except for I know which.
The single?
I used 5.5 millimeter hooks for all my frogs, except for this tiny little guy. He was a F hook. And then both of these fellas, I used the same yarn, which is the same chenille.
Premier Basics Chenille.
And this one's in the seafoam color, but this one I used a 5.5, and I thought that I could make him a little bigger if I used a bigger hook, because I thought the stitches were really tight. It was hard to crochet with the 5.5 millimeter hook with this yarn. So I sized up to the 6 millimeter hook But then I was disappointed to see they basically look the same. They really didn't size different. But I would definitely, this one's softer. I think that it's a better size hook, the 6. I might even try a 6.5, so I could see if I could get just a slightly bigger size, because I think that this guy could work up to about the same as this guy, and there's definitely, I think, room to size up a half, another half. I did use 5.5 millimeter hooks for all the little guys. I did, except for this one, which was 6 millimeters. All right,
back to these guys that are the same size. This one I made with Chenille Home Slim in petrol blue. I believe I used 10 millimeter eyes.
Was it light or slim?
Slim.
Slim.
Sweet Snuggles is light.
Okay.
Chenille Home is slim.
And I love this color.
I made a mermaid.
Blue.
I made a mermaid a while ago and used this color as the mermaid's tail, and it was really pretty.
Yeah, I love this color.
And the same other one that worked up to be about the same size is our Premier Parfait Chunky
Emerald.
And since Mom made this one, I believe we made it in a 5.5 millimeters. And I'm guessing these are 12 millimeter eyes again.
Yep. I like the big frog eyes.
I do too. They're really cute. Did you use Bernat blanket for the cheeks?
I did.
Looks like they're slightly sparkly.
Yes, those are the sparkly yarns. I have it right back there and it was an easy, like you said, easily accessible. And also then I used the Premier Just Chenille. I'm planning on using this black for
embroidery.
I'm just not loving that particular.
This is the Dollar Tree Premier Just Chenille.
Which frog was your favorite?
Well, I would say my favorite frog so far still is my ginormousest Sweet Snuggles Froggy, just because he's so super duper duper soft and the perfect little snuggly pal.
Right. So if I was making for markets, I would also pick this big chunky. And what yarn was this again?
Sweet Snuggles.
Sweet Snuggles. However, I really love the speckled frog, and so I think he makes a really cute pocket pal. And I also like this little leggy guy. I don't know why. I just think he's really adorable.
Just a little unexpected.
But most likely, if I was going to crochet more of these and they were going to go to market with us, this is the yarn, hands down winner.
Yep. I know we'll have to make lots and lots of little guys like this, just so that we have lots of little things for kids to be able to buy with whatever money they've been able to bring to market. But,
right. But this will be a majority of what I would be more motivated to make.
Which one of these little froggies is your favorite? Do you prefer the giant little soft squishy guys, or do you like these fun little tiny guys better? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and let's crochet together.
King, lay down. Come on. Good boy.
Hey Mom, what do stylish frogs wear?
What do they wear?
Jumpsuits.
In the Big Twist Push. Which frog's outfit croaked you up? Gotta love fire trucks.
No!
Okay.
So this... Frogs are always happy because they eat whatever bugs them.
Oh, you're bad.